What are three great reasons for an executive to trust an agile coach? There's going to be some assumptions in my answer. So I'm going to assume that the coach is going to put a lot of efforts into understanding the context that the executive is dealing with. It's all very well to kind of come running down the hill saying you should do this, that, and the other without an understanding what's really going on. And I put a lot of energy at the start into learning about the technical domain and the business domain, so I understand what challenges might be in front of the executive. What are they actually dealing with? Another assumption would be that the coach that you're interacting with is broad and deep. And so they have a whole toolbox of approaches that you can use, and they're not particularly tied to any particular approach. Be very careful with coaches who are tied to a particular approach, because they're just going to go in that funnel. Everything looks like a nail when you've got a hammer. And so you need someone who's got a broad perspective, and they're not even just limited to Agile. They might be looking into the product management space, DevOps space, 21st century lean, all sorts of options. You don't have to be Agile to become Agile. So if you're on the assumption that you're dealing with a coach that really is making an effort to understand, that they've had experience working at an executive level before, and they have a broad toolbox that they can work with, and they can act like a chef where they say, okay, these are all the wonderful ideas I have, but then once they get into the culture, the context, and they understand, we don't have that many ingredients in the fridge here, so let's see if we can cook up a dish with some of these ingredients that we do have left. You need someone who's flexible enough to be able to deal with that. So that's the context behind my answer. And I would say the first thing is that a really good coach would understand when they should coach, as in when they should ask you questions, because a lot of the time you have a lot of subject matter expertise on agility already, and we maybe just need to help you to find the right answer for yourself, and then you're more bought into that. Another approach is to act as a mentor, to act as an advisor. Although one of my friends, Tom Meller, he was driving me around Illinois, I think, one day, and he said to me in the car, did I give him advice by accident? I'm not sure what I did, but he said, John, don't ever give advice unless people are asking for it. But he was giving me advice when he told me that. But I think there's still merit in what he was saying, that, I think you need to be dealing with a coach that is listening, and they're waiting for you to listen as well. And if you're not listening, then what's the point of them talking? And also having permission to teach as well. If I was aware, and a good coach, if they were aware that there's another option that might be in front of you that maybe you should consider instead, they might say, well, do you mind if I just go into a 10-minute moment here, just kind of explaining another option, and respect whatever you decide, and all that kind of thing. So a good coach would be able to decide on the fly whether this should be coaching, from a professional coaching point of view, mentoring, giving advice, or teaching. They should also understand whether they should be just listening and going to see what's really, really going on. So first thing is, how situational is the coach that's in front of you? And a really good coach will be very good at that. What can happen at the start is there'll be a lot of maybe mentoring and teaching until such point as you get to a stage where maybe you've got the level of knowledge already on agility, but some of you are already at that place, and so we can use the coaching stance quite comfortably most of the time. The second thing that you can really get from a very good coach is really good facilitation skills. A really decent coach would be able to hold the space, so to speak. They'd be able to hold an open space or run strings of liberating structures to facilitate events, meetings, workshops in a way unlike you've ever seen before, really, really engaging everyone, and not running your agile transformation by PowerPoint deck. I mean, there's a place for PowerPoint decks, don't get me wrong, but if you're going to become agile, be agile and use different approaches. And a really good coach will help you to really bring that freshness and that energy. And people are like, oh, this is different. Yeah, it's different. We don't use waterfall for rolling out agile. We're being agile about being agile. And a good coach will work with you on a 30 to 90 day cycle in terms of, what do you want to do next? There's no assumption that you're going to be there for a year or 2 years or anything like that. It's kind of like, take it slowly, slowly. I think third of all, a really good coach can help you find the right approaches for your organization, and maybe can also help you as well to find that where maybe the most practical first place might be in your organization, because you might have an idea that a particular part of the organization over here is really, really valuable, but your coach might understand actually there's a lot of lip service in that part of your organization, as in people are saying they'll do things, but they're not really that sincere, that interested. And maybe even though there's another area over here that's maybe a third as valuable in terms of transformation, maybe we can get some quick wins there, and maybe have some early adopters there, and maybe make some progress later on. So a really good coach would be like a sparring partner with you, not so much in a boxing context, but like working together, being respectful with each other, and you understand the politics and we understand agility. You understand a bit about agility as well, but we work together as partners to understand what's the next right thing to do, because we need to be agile to become agile.